So my last couple of videos, we've talked about something that I think most people overlook. We've talked about why the lead is the real asset. We've talked about the difference between renting traffic and owning traffic, but naturally that leads to the next question. How do you actually turn a complete stranger into a lead that you own? Because honestly, this is where most people get stuck. They understand traffic and products and commissions, but they don't understand the step that's in between. And that is the one thing that, I think is missing, that usually is the difference between building a business and just chasing opportunities. So today I want to break down how I think about this and then how I personally structure it in my own business. The biggest mistake I see beginners make is actually pretty simple. They get traffic, then they immediately send the traffic to an offer. And sometimes it works. Sometimes they even, make a sale. But most of the time, the person leaves the page, and now that person's gone forever. There's no email, there's no follow up, no relationship, and there's no second chance to getting a sale on the product they sent them to. So then they wonder why they keep buying more traffic and finding more traffic, but they're just chasing another opportunity. They're not actually building an asset. They never captured the lead to build the relationship. They just chased the transaction, and that's a huge difference. It is the difference between being a business owner and just being an affiliate marketer and sending traffic to someone else's offer. So when people hear the word funnel, I think they think that that's complicated marketing, but honestly, a funnel is just a process. So like I have System.io up here right now. That is what I use for all of my funnels. I used to use ClickFunnels and I still love ClickFunnels. But System.io is definitely more of it was a better, affordable product for what most people need. ClickFunnels can get pretty complicated and it can get expensive if you aren't actually bringing in money. So I always suggest that people start their business with System.io because it's a completely free account. And you can grab an account for completely free by clicking the link in the description. And I'll be giving some of these funnels away to people as I build them out in the next couple of weeks. So if you have a System.io account, you'll be able to download those into your account for free. So basically, a funnel takes somebody who doesn't know who you are and it moves them one step closer to becoming a customer. That's all we're doing. We're basically running traffic and we're turning strangers into people that we can communicate with in the future. And that's why funnels matter, not because they're fancy, because they create relationships. Now, here's where I think people get a little bit confused. Because you'll hear marketers say, always capture the lead first. And honestly, that depends. If I own the product, I don't necessarily need an opt-in first. For example, when I run Bing or Google ads to my own products, I often send them directly to my offers. Why? Because if they buy, I immediately become the owner of that customer relationship. I know who they are, I have their information, I can follow up, I can support them, I can offer other products later. The customer becomes my lead. So in that scenario, the direct sale works. Now, if I'm promoting somebody else's offer as an affiliate, that is completely different. Because if I send paid traffic directly to their sales page through an affiliate link, and that person doesn't buy, they're gone. I lose them forever. That's why I would use a bridge page or a funnel opt-in page in that instance. That's why I build email lists. I collect leads first in that scenario. I don't want somebody else building their business relationship with the lead I produce for them. I want the relationship. That's the difference. So I am going to take a second to show you guys. This is one of my old Google accounts right here. And the reason I'm showing you this, it's not because It's an example. It's a real life example. So this is the lifetime, just so you know, this is the lifetime of this account. And I've blown it up so that you can see it a little better. But during the time of, let's see, right here, you can see right here, I spent $900,000 over a few year period of time. So this is basically, I started second quarter of 2018 and I ran these through the first quarter of 2022. So I'm going to highlight these. You guys can see this second quarter. Let's see, third quarter, I spent so that's like $10,000 per month I was spending on Google ads. Then I spent 20,000. Then I backed back off because that was actually a period of time where I was like, I've got to hire, I've got to bring people on to help. We have a lot of customers that we're building. And then check this out. In the second quarter of 2020, this was a crazy year. 2020, everyone knows that was a crazy year. But I spent a couple of months, I spent $116,000 in a quarter, and then I spent close to $167,000 in a quarter. And that was my biggest growth period for customers. This was all acquiring customers. So you can see the different, how much I was spending in all of these quarters. Now, what I actually want to point out is that I was averaging a $2.18 cost per click. I got 8.77 million impressions, and then from those impressions is where I got the clicks. I spent $900,000, but in that period of time, I mean, we were hitting months of $100,000 in revenue. So I acquired about 28,000 customers during this period of time. And the reason I show you guys this is because this was a customer list. These were 28,000 people who actually bought a product or a service that I was selling services. So this was a service that I would do. So $900,000, 28,000 customers. My cost per customer was just over $30 per customer. My average cart value, though, was between $35 and $37. So I actually was profiting on the front end, which a lot of people don't do. They either break even or they lose a little money, but they're okay with that because the lifetime value of a customer or repeat customers exceeds the number they needed to make money or make profit. So I acquired 28,000 customers during this period of time. Average cost, I think it's about $32 if you do the math. It's about $32 per customer. My average cart value is between $35 and $37, but the repeat customers who would come back and keep buying from me, to this day, some of those customers buy from me. I actually ran my business the next 3 years. I've started doing Google ads, and actually I'm using Bing a lot more, but I'm using Bing ads right now, so I have a pretty big Bing account as well. So what I'm doing is now I'm spending over there, but I went about a 2.5 to 3 year period where I didn't run any ads because I didn't have to. I had 28,000 people on an email list that I could email, send an email, give an offer, give a discount code to one of my products or services, and boom, bring in sales. I rode that for like 3 years. And to this day, we still have those customers. I can follow up. I can build a relationship. They're my customers. And I still do that to this day. But now I'm starting to run ads again. And I've compared Google to Bing. And right now I'm just on the Bing train. I like it. The costs are lower and I'm getting just as many customers. So that's where I'm scaling my ads, or my ad budget right now is on Bing. And I'm doing that with my affiliates as well. We're scaling that together and bringing in customers, and then they're getting affiliate commissions for the customers we're bringing in. So I'm running Bing ads directly to an offer. So I'm going to show you an example of an offer. So this is just a simple funnel that I actually scripted up with AI. I have a whole framework for throwing the product, like giving AI the actual done product, having it analyze it, and it will, boom, within 5 minutes create me the entire sales page for it. So this is actually one of the products that I just created in about 10 minutes. And then this is a placeholder video right now. It'll be replaced this weekend with a real video. This is one of the ones I'm going to be running ads to scale up. But this is a nice landing page. It's got the different sections. It's got a video. People can get access to this. It's live. This is actually the script I use every single day to help me do my content plan and strategy plus my script. It helps keep me on target so that I don't wander all over the place with my videos. Most of my videos are strategically planned out and scripted out, not word for word, because I don't like to sound like a robot, but I like to stay on track and stay on topic, because then, you you definitely can go off on tangents if you don't script out what you're going to do prior. And I like doing videos straight through. I don't do a ton of editing to my videos, and maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. But I really like just kind of interacting. It's almost like I'm interacting with you naturally. But yes, I have a script in front of me that I try and keep task on. So this is an example of a sales page where I'm not collecting an email yet, because once they click get access to this script, then I collect their email. I use a web hook to send that into my autoresponder, and now I have a customer plus a lead that I can market to when I have the next product come out. So this is the type of product I would send you. Now, if this was an affiliate link to this type of product, I would have a bridge page that would look similar to this page, where I would collect the email first. It would say something like, hey, would you like to see this script in action? Put your email below and watch this 3-minute video. That would be all that was on it. I would collect the lead. They would watch the video. I would actually forward them through my affiliate link to this product, and then boom, there's a video on here that explains what this is. And if they buy it, that person's affiliate link would get clicked and they would get credit for this. That's how that works. So I own the product. I'm sending traffic directly to this. I don't own this product. I'm building some sort of capture or lead page first, getting the lead, and then redirecting with my affiliate link to this page. That is how that works. And that's why email still matters. So if you know exactly the type of person that you're getting on your email list, you can target them with offers that are of value to them. And you can affiliate to things if you don't own products or offers yourself. So, everybody wants to talk about AI and all the cool things, and you can do some great things with AI, and, YouTube, TikTok, social media, but email is still one of the best ways to build up your business because you own it. If Facebook decides, I have Facebook pages, but when I make a post, people only see it if Facebook decides to show it to them. But if I have the lead, I could actually send an email saying, guys, I just made a Facebook post, and link to the Facebook post. I own the email lead, and even with, if you don't have, a YouTube channel, then you don't have a way to necessarily, I recommend people getting YouTube channels, because you have people that watch, but then you can put a link in the description. Like, a lot of times I put my tools and my resources in the link in the description. When they click it, they get access to my spreadsheet with all the tools and resources that I use, but I collect that lead first. So it's not that exciting, but it does work. I will say that I have actually had people reach out to me when I did my last series via Instagram or Facebook Messenger, because they saw my YouTube video and they wanted to reach out to me. Technically, that could be a lead. People will interact, and if you're providing some sort of value, they will reach out to you. So if you're brand new, here's the simplest way to think about it. If you own the offer, you want traffic, offer, customer. And then if that customer becomes your lead. But if you don't own the offer, then you want to get traffic to a bridge page or an opt-in page. You want to get the lead first, and then you want to redirect to an affiliate offer or get them on the list, provide value, and then within the follow-up series, send them to the affiliate offer. But then you have a means to communicate with them. because, now you're protecting the relationship before you're sending them away from your page. Those are the two completely different strategies, and understanding the difference can save you a lot of money. So honestly, this ties directly back into everything we've talked about over the last month. Easy profits, affiliate marketing, traffic, funnel, ownership. All of it comes back to one question: what do you actually own? Because if the platform disappears tomorrow, the relationship is what survives. The customer is what survives. The email is what survives. That's why I focus heavily on those things. I still have my affiliate list. I still have people in a list that follow me, to where I can send them updates and communicate with them regardless of if a platform goes away. And that's currently what I'm doing with my affiliates in our private dashboard. We're building this whole system out, and I can communicate with them every day if I want to. So if you take one thing from this video, take this: traffic gets attention, but relationships create businesses. And the more people that you can move from stranger to lead to customer, the stronger your business becomes. So in the next video, we'll talk about what actually belongs on a landing page. We'll probably analyze some of this, and then we'll build out a bridge page probably for this, because I'm going to be giving that bridge page to my affiliates so they can promote this product. Because I think, that's most important and where people get stuck. So they understand they need a funnel. They just don't know what to put on the page. So we'll fix that next. Leave a comment. Let me know what type of business you're building. And then I will see you guys on the next video.